Hello, I'm Steve Kay, Vice Mayor, and I'm here today with Deborah Hensley, an old friend and colleague. Not old, a seasoned friend.
That'll work.
We've been friends in college for a long time, let's put it that way. And she is the founder of LXL Radio, and I wanted to give our viewers an opportunity to learn a little bit about that. So why don't I start? First of all, thank you, welcome, thanks for being here.
Thank you, it feels good to be here.
In your place,
yeah.
But thanks for doing this.
Yeah,
so start by saying just a little bit about where this idea come from and a little bit about the history.
Sure. Well, there was an opportunity that I didn't want to see passed up by Lexington, and it was a result really of a congressional act where
took an act of Congress to get this
took an act
going?
of Congress to get us started here. And so really what has happened over the course of the decades, radio has become more and more deregulated. And a consequence of that is we've lost a lot of really ultra-local stories. I think we are seeing a real improvement of that with in other facets of our community, with local Smiley Pete, and you're seeing a lot of things like Tom Eblin and Linda and all those folks at Herald Leader are doing. So there was a localism effort that was happening along at the same time that this came about.
Okay.
And when the FCC says we're now ready to take applications, they leave their doors open for about 30 days.
Okay, and the applications are for something different than what they've allowed before.
We wouldn't be doing this if we were just wanting another radio station in Lexington.
Okay.
So this is low power FM, which means that we cover anywhere between 3.5 to about 5 miles from wherever our transmitter is. And so Bluegrass Community and Technical College, our first collaborator and friend in this process, along with Bluegrass Community Foundation, we approached them and said, can we use your tower on Leestown and New Circle Road? And so envision a 3.5, 5 mile radius there. And you'll see we have the highest concentration of the Latino population and of all downtown, the real central city, and then really a northern kind of route as well.
Okay. So a fair amount of coverage, but not the whole
city. Not the whole city,
not the whole county.
But the interesting thing about this situation is that you can have an app on your phone and you can hear us anywhere in the country. We have live streaming, so.
Okay, and that app is up now? I mean,
it should be any day, and by the time this is on, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and you can actually go on your computer and go to lexingtoncommunityradio.org and click on our live studio right there, or whatever we're playing.
So if you're not in the area, in the broadcast area, you can still get it if you want.
Definitely.
But if you get an FM tuner and you're in the area, you can just put it on your radio.
Yes, 95.7 is the frequency for this particular channel, and you can hear it in the car. We've been listening. It actually goes even beyond what our coverage area. Not perfect, but it's very exciting for Lexington because there are individuals that we have in training that know nothing about radio, but they're very interested in their community. We have close to 100 individuals that want to be DJs.
Really?
Well over 100
You're going to be able to accommodate all those folks? You're going to have all these different programming? How's that going to work?
Well, and thank goodness we have someone making those decisions besides me, but Kaki Urch is our program director and director of community engagement, so they're in the process of training. And then people have to have, good ideas.
Yeah. So before I just briefly, if people aren't familiar with Kaki, a lot of people in the community know she's at the university.
Yeah, University of Kentucky. She's a tenured professor in media and journalism and all that stuff. And she also has a lot of experience, particularly in radio. I mean, she was one of the founders of WRFL. Back years ago when I was a young woman on the city council, and we helped them a little bit. And so she also helps host shows with WRFL. She has lots of students. We have student interns here. So Kaki's been a tremendous resource for us with the university. And so it's exciting that even though we have a very small staff, we are 100% volunteer programming.
Okay.
So, you know, we have two people hosting a show here in the next couple of hours, you know. So it's exciting to see people who have great ideas and are involved in their community now doing radio shows.
Okay. Can you give us a couple of examples just to whet people's appetite?
Yeah. Okay. So the other thing that I think is very important is that you realize that we are particularly trying to make this channel have a strong Latino emphasis, as well as Central Lexington. So this morning, Alexis had her own radio show and I don't speak Spanish, so I can't tell you what it was about. But she had a guest, and so there was a live show that was, I think that was between 10 and 11, or maybe it was 11 and 12.
Okay.
For example, we have Rona Roberts, and we have Weta
Someone
Michael.
I'm familiar with.
Yes, they will be doing their own cooking show. But I think it's very important to stress that we are about public wellness, which includes a lot of public safety.
Okay.
Nan Plummer with Lex Arts is going to have her own show that's about a character that she has developed that will be giving safety tips, and because it's, you know, you got to have fun when you're talking about public safety.
Right.
And we also have 30 students here, a part of the STEAM Radio Club.
Okay.
And they're learning broadcasting, journalism, and they'll have some of their own shows.
Okay, so physically we are now in the ground, I guess below, I don't know, is this the basement level?
This is the basement,
Basement
yeah.
level of what's now the STEAM Academy.
Yes, yes.
And some of those students can just kind of walk in
Right,
and
right.
be involved.
Yes,
That's-
they have a radio club meeting every Monday, and Kaki is the person that helps train that. These young students, and they know technology so well, so it's really easy for these young people. But I think too, they've got ideas that we haven't thought of, and we don't want to say our programming is going to be about these particular things. The community will tell us.
Okay.
I mean, this is local community radio.
Got it.
What do you want? What's important to you? We'll have elected officials on.
Really?
Talking about what's going on in their neighborhoods, you know.
Okay.
You know, hopefully we will be able to give 25 citizen journalists the equipment to be able to tell us how the roads are in certain streets. I mean, you know, we've got big ideas that we want to have.
All right, and you said this station, and I know that there's another station
Yes.
coming.
Yes.
Say just a little bit about that.
Yeah, as a public safety oriented nonprofit, which is really our heart of what we are about, we were able to apply for more than one channel.
Okay.
So we have another channel that's WLXU. We will be on the air no later than April of 2016. Our goal is to get on sooner.
Yep.
And it overlaps part of this coverage area, but it goes further east. So it's you know, we'll get all of Walton Avenue. We actually get that area even now anyway, but we'll go further east and even north. We get some of the south. But you'll see a transition of programming eventually. We want WLXL, which is 95.7. We want that to be totally a Latino station. And then WLXU will be a community radio station.
Okay. Well, great. So we're going to take a short break here, and I'm going to shift, and I'm going to talk a little bit with Hap Houlihan, whose official title is
General Manager.
General Manager, and we'll talk a little bit more about what they're doing here. We're back now, and I'm here with Hap Houlihan, who's the General Manager of WLXL. We're in a different part of the studio. I'm going to ask him a little bit about, well, first I'm going to say welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. And then just generally a little bit about what you do here, how you got interested in this whole effort.
Okay. Well, I got interested from the moment Deborah first mentioned it to me. Gosh, I want to say 2012. It may have even been 2011. And she kept Win Morris and I abreast of what was going on as things developed from pure dream to a little closer down the road to reality.
And your initial interest was sparked because?
Well, Win Morris and I were both former WRFL DJs.
Okay.
And we were there right at the beginning at WRFL's inception. So yeah, just, you know, having watched one station build from, again, practically nothing, we loved the idea of that happening again in Lexington, especially one that wasn't as campus focused and could be have just a little bit larger scope.
Okay. So is it fair to say that some of the same kinds of things that you were interested in RFL are also going to be demonstrated with LXL?
I would say so, yeah. We certainly don't want to step on their toes because they've been very kind all along in lending us everything from training materials to just great advice.
Right.
But yeah, I think this is something we can expand more to reach the entire community, and again, without overlapping too much with what WRFL does, because they're an institution. You don't want to mess with them.
Right. Okay. So a little bit about your job. You're the general manager. What does that mean?
Well, at an all-volunteer station, it can mean a lot of different things on a given day. Right now, we're still at the part where a lot of people are just getting used to the idea of being a DJ. They're doing their very first shows last week, this week, and next week, and as such, they're probably not at the comfort level to take on much more than that. In addition, of course, they probably have a day job or kids or both.
Yeah.
But that's something we learned from WRFL is that station doesn't run itself in any way. It's the people that do it, but the people are giving of their time, making either very small amounts of money or none at all over there. So it's going to be very similar here. They're doing it as a labor of love, and as their interest level sort of goes from a general thing to something specific. For example, I'm doing some production right now.
Okay, so we're at a console that allows you to edit. I mean, this is
precisely.
Yeah.
And it, as you can see, it's not a $10,000 studio, but it works. It's if you know the 80-20 rule, this definitely applies, where you get almost as good a production value with something that costs maybe 1/10 of what you could spend, and we're very satisfied with that, because that allows us other resources free to do a lot more in the community. And yeah, we've produced almost all of our recorded material either right from here or from the homes of the respective hosts of the show.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
you actually you take the stuff. I'm trying to think of the word. The equipment. You take all the equipment to a home, or how do you do that?
No,
they call in?
Well, there's a software. There's several pieces of software. One is completely free. It's put out under the new public license, or whatever that's called. That you can learn to use within a few hours. And then all you really need is the computer to put it on, and a decent microphone and headset perhaps, and you can really get amazing things done with that little equipment.
So then they ship that here?
Yes.
And then you do whatever you need to
send
do?
Send it online, then we do a little further. We might chop it up into the right length segments, make sure it's all EQ'd well, and then out onto the air it goes.
So it sounds like, at the moment anyway, as general manager, your job is really helping the people who are going to be on air get more comfortable with that.
Absolutely.
Figure out what they really want to do, that kind of thing.
That's true. A lot of my friends have said, "Well, what's your show, Hap?" And I'm like, "Oh, honey, my hands are quite full as it is. I'd love to have a show one day, but it's certainly not a hot priority for me, because in the meantime, I just love seeing all these other people come up with their shows. It's more rewarding almost to enable that right now than it is to hog the mic and do my own thing."
Okay, and in addition to this equipment, there's some murals on the walls.
Yes.
I know that it looks like this was built inside an existing classroom, but you built studios in the classroom.
We sure did, and we had great help to do that. But the finishing touches that you'll see were put on there by John Lackey, an artist whose studio is right around the corner from here, Homegrown Press, and I talked to him about doing this months ago, and he loved the idea and donated his time to get it done. He worked with some STEAM students here and the result, as you see, is just gorgeous.
So it seems like totally in the spirit of it that people are giving their time.
Absolutely.
They're interested
Roll
in
up
getting
your
this
sleeves
done.
and get something important and in this case beautiful done. That you know, in a small but very real way will radiate out into the community.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you again for being taking the time. I'm saying being with us. I'm really in your space, but
Well,
thank you for taking the
you're
time.
welcome anytime here,
Good
Mr.
luck.
Vice Mayor.
I want to tell people again, 95.7 WLXL, live streaming on your radio. Look forward to many exciting and interesting programs that have to do with our own community. So thank you for joining us today.